The mango tree stood all alone by the old railway tracks, its branches reaching for a sky that offered no comfort. The sun, a great ball of fire, beat down without mercy day after day. The tree's leaves, once a vibrant happy green, had turned a tired brown. They curled at the edges, whispering sad, brittle songs whenever a hot wind blew past. The earth around its roots was cracked and dry, like a thirsty mouth open to the heavens, pleading for just a single drop of rain. The tree felt weak, its strong trunk groaning under the relentless heat. It dreamed of cool water and the gentle touch of a passing cloud, but only found the endless scorching glare of the sun. It was a lonely and difficult time for the old mango tree. One afternoon, a tiny spark from a passing steam engine danced through the air. It was a mischievous little thing, a flicker of orange and red, and it landed on the driest leaf of the mango tree. In a heartbeat, a small flame appeared. The fire was hungry. It began to eat the dry leaves, growing bigger and bolder with every bite. Smoke, thick and gray, curled into the sky, carrying the tree's silent cry of pain. The fire crackled and popped, a terrible sound that spoke of destruction. The beautiful tree, which had provided shade for so many years, was now being consumed by a cruel, dancing fire. The sight was a picture of great sadness, a lonely giant suffering under a cloud of its own making. High above, a little sparrow saw the smoke and the angry orange glow. Her heart, though very small, was filled with a big sadness for the suffering tree. She could not just watch it burn. So she flew as fast as her tiny wings could carry her to the nearby village pond. She dipped her beak into the cool water, taking just one single, precious drop. It was not much, but it was everything she could carry. She flew back to the burning tree and let the drop fall onto a glowing ember. The sound was small, but it was a sound of hope. Again and again she flew, a tiny warrior against a great fire, bringing one drop, then another, and another. The little sparrow worked tirelessly, her small body aching with the effort. Her wings beat the air, a constant rhythm of determination against the roaring flames. The fire, which had seemed so powerful, began to notice the small, persistent drops of water. It hissed and sputtered, its greedy flames shrinking back from the sparrow's courageous assault. The other birds and animals watched in wonder as the tiny bird fought the great fire. Her bravery was a cool balm on the hot air. Slowly, miraculously, her small drops began to win. The last of the angry red embers faded into a soft gray, and the smoke thinned, finally defeated by the loving effort of one very small, very brave sparrow. With the fire gone, the mango tree began its slow journey to heal. The little sparrow's gift of water seemed to have woken something deep inside its roots. Gentle rains finally came, washing away the black soot and sinking deep into the thirsty ground. Soon, tiny green buds like little emerald jewels began to appear on the scarred branches. These brave little buds pushed their way out, unfurling into fresh new leaves. The tree drank the sunlight, not as an enemy, but as a friend, turning its light into life. It stretched its new limbs towards the sky, feeling stronger with each passing day. The air around it was once again filled with the sweet scent of mango leaves and fresh earth. The tree did not just grow leaves, it blossomed. Small, fragrant flowers appeared in bunches, promising something wonderful to come. The little sparrow, who had never left its side, chirped with delight. She watched as the flowers gave way to tiny green mangoes. The tree poured all its newfound strength into these fruits, helping them grow plump and sweet under the warm sun. Soon the branches were heavy with ripe, golden mangoes, their skin blushing with shades of red and orange. The tree was alive and generous again, offering its sweet gifts to anyone who passed by, a beautiful symbol of life's power to return from even the deepest sorrow. Seeing the tree so full of life, the little sparrow knew she had found her home. She had cared for this tree, and now it would care for her. She chose a sturdy fork and a branch, a place sheltered by large green leaves and close to a cluster of sweet mangoes. With great care, she began to build her nest. She flew back and forth, carrying soft grasses, little twigs, and fluffy bits of cotton she found near the railway line. She wove them together with the skill of a master builder, creating a perfect, cup-shaped home. It was a cozy and safe place, a testament to her hard work and her bond with the gentle tree. Soon, the nest was ready. The little sparrow settled into her soft new home and laid 3 tiny speckled eggs. They were as precious as pearls, holding the promise of new life within their delicate shells. She sat on them day and night, keeping them warm and safe from harm. The mango tree's leaves rustled softly around her, like a gentle lullaby, protecting her and her future family. The tree and the sparrow were a family, sharing a life of peace and contentment. The world from her branch was perfect, filled with the sweet scent of mangoes, the warmth of the sun, and the quiet joy of a home built with love. Life in the mango tree was peaceful, a quiet rhythm of sun and breeze, but every day, a great iron beast would roar past on the nearby tracks. It was the train, a long snake of metal and noise, shaking the very ground as it passed. The sparrow would watch it from her nest, her heart beating a little faster with each rumble. The tree was used to the train, it had been its neighbor for a very long time. But one fateful day, the train was different. It came faster than usual, its wheels screaming against the steel rails with a terrible, high-pitched sound. It was a sound of warning, a sound of something gone terribly wrong. The train buckled and swayed, a giant creature losing its balance. With a deafening crash of tearing metal and splintering wood, one of the heavy carriages left the tracks. It flew through the air for a terrifying second before slamming into the trunk of the gentle mango tree. The impact was immense, a brutal and violent blow. The strong old trunk, which had survived the sun and the fire, could not withstand this new assault. It splintered with a sound like a thunderclap, wood groaning in its final agonizing moment. The beautiful tree, once a symbol of life and resilience, was broken in an instant, its branches crashing to the earth in a tangle of green and gold. The little sparrow was thrown from her nest by the violent jolt. When she fluttered back, her heart broke into 1,000 tiny pieces. Her perfect, cozy nest was gone, torn apart and scattered on the ground. And there, amidst the ruined twigs and soft grasses, lay the shattered remains of her 3 precious eggs. The life that she had so carefully nurtured was gone. All her hopes, all her dreams for a little family, were destroyed in that single terrible moment. The air, once filled with the sweet scent of mangoes, was now thick with the bitter smell of dust and disaster. The world had become a silent, terrible place. The little sparrow stood beside the wreckage of her home and her family, a small, lonely figure in a scene of utter devastation. A deep, quiet sadness settled over her, heavier than any storm cloud. She chirped a soft, mournful song for her broken tree and her lost babies. The sun set, painting the sky in colors of orange and red, but for the sparrow, there was only gray. The world that had been so full of joy and promise just moments before was now an empty, painful memory. She had helped the tree heal from fire, but this wound felt too deep, too final, for both of them. Days turned into weeks, and the seasons began to change. The broken body of the old mango tree was cleared away, leaving only a scarred patch of earth by the railway tracks. The little sparrow remained nearby, her heart still heavy with the memory of what she had lost. She would often visit the spot where her home once stood, her sad song a quiet tribute to the friend she missed so dearly. The joy had gone out of her world. Yet deep in the earth, a secret was being kept. The roots of the old tree, though unseen, were still alive. They held the memory of the sun, the rain, and the kindness of a small bird. One morning, after a soft spring rain, the sparrow noticed something new. A tiny green shoot was pushing its way up through the soil right where the old tree had been. It was small and fragile, but it was unmistakably a new mango tree, a child of the one that was lost. The sparrow watched it every day as it grew, a little taller, a little stronger. It was a sign that life, no matter how broken it becomes, always finds a way to begin again. Seeing this new life, a tiny flicker of hope began to glow in the sparrow's sad heart. The past could not be changed, but perhaps the future held a new promise. Years passed. The new mango tree grew, its branches reaching for the sky just as its parent had done. It was not as big or as strong as the old tree yet, but it was full of life and promise. One spring, it produced its first blossoms, and then its first small, sweet mangoes. The little sparrow, now older and grayer, would often sit on a nearby fence, looking at the young tree. Her heart still ached with the memory of her first nest and her lost eggs. The sadness was a part of her, a shadow that would never completely disappear. It was a memory of a great love and a great loss. But as she looked at the new tree, with its fresh green leaves and growing fruit, she also felt a gentle sense of peace. The new tree was not a replacement, but a continuation. It was a living reminder that even after the most terrible storms, new life can grow. This is the way of the world. We must always care for the living things around us, for they give us so much. And we must hold our memories, both the happy and the sad, close to our hearts. For it is in remembering the love we have known that we find the strength to welcome the hope of a new day.